Let's talk about Dillion Brooks. A fight here against the Cavaliers on Thursday. He goes up, gets fouled, and you'll see it here. Dillion Brooks, stop it here. He rolls over, kind of hits Donavan Mitchell in his manhood. We'll put it that way. Go ahead and play it. And then from there, Donavan Mitchell does not take kindly to that, throws the ball at him, and here's where the brawl ensues. Here comes the Grizzlies security guy coming in, tackles Dillion Brooks. Honestly, we need to get him in the Pro Bowl because he looked really good with that tackle, and that's kind of where it all ends. So we'll talk about Dillion Brooks here in a little bit, but Donavan Mitchell had some very strong words, we'll call it, for how he feels about Brooks.
Yeah, for sure. That's just who he is. You know, we've seen it a bunch in this league with him. Him and I have had our personal battles for years. Quite frankly, I've been busting this for years. Playoffs, regular season. You know, in the one game he does a high job on me today. You know, he decides to do something like that, and you know, there's no place in that in the game, and you know, you got to protect yourself at the end of the day. But
yeah, so some very spicy commentary there from Donavan Mitchell. Clayton, I'll kind of start with you. What's kind of your thoughts on what Donavan Mitchell had to say and kind of what the perspective is on Dillion Brooks around the league?
Yeah, so, you know, there's been dirty player has been thrown out. I think that's a step too far. Was it a dirty play? I don't think anyone is going to argue with that. What Dillion Brooks is an agitator. And I think, yeah, maybe the league isn't turning on him because they already really weren't a big fan of him, but that's kind of his job. I mean, you know, the Lance Stevensons of the world, the guys over the years that frustrate you, it's their job to get you out of the game, that best scorer. Obviously, he went a step too far this time with Donavan Mitchell, but, you know, bumping guys when he's walking back, that kind of thing. He's trying to get in people's heads. That's part of what Dillion Brooks does so effectively on defense. Did he take it too far? Absolutely. Does that make him a dirty player? I'm not ready to say that.
Yeah, I think he's kind of getting into that area where if you're an opposing fan and you're playing the Memphis Grizzlies, you hate Dillion Brooks. With everything in your soul, your being, you hate Dillion Brooks. But if he's on your team, he's
feel
still
pretty polarizing.
He's still very polarizing. Don't get me wrong. A lot of people feel differently about Dillion Brooks, but I think you understand what it is he brings to the table. Anthony, saying, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm not really quite at the point where I'm going to say he's a dirty player. It was a dirty play. That's not debatable. It's definitely a dirty play. And sometimes perception is reality. So to other fan bases, I'm not mad if they think that Dillion Brooks is a dirty player. If I see a guy do that to one of my guys, every time I see him, I'm going to say that's a dirty player. So I get it. I don't particularly agree. One thing I will say, I like when Clayton was saying that he's an agitator. That's definitely what he is, in my opinion. He's also a very emotional player, and he plays kind of reckless. I mean, that's another strong word to use, but we've seen cases in the past where Dillion has done things, and it may not be intentional because he's so emotional and playing at such a high level. You know, guys do get hurt. I hate to see it. I hate to see anything like that. That's not the type of guys that we are. They look very out of character, about to get into a fight on the court. Very unfortunate situation. Dillon's got to grow up and mature in that area. I think that the hit to the groin was 100% intentional. It's kind of bothering me to see people acting like it's not. I mean, if it was anyone else that did that against us, we'd be screaming for their heads. You know what I mean? So Dillon's just got to mature in that area. It's very unfortunate to see, but hopefully they can grow and move on.
Yeah, 2 fights in a month, both of them instigated by Dillion Brooks. Yeah. So,
but the thing is, sorry to interrupt. I would argue that a lot of these winning teams, you need somebody like that on your team who's going to be the bad guy. I mean, Draymond has been that for years around there. Not to make the direct comparison, but a lot of the time, that's what winning teams have. They have at least one guy that's kind of off the wall that, unfortunately, like we said, went too far, dirty play. But somebody that disrupts, at least on the mental side of the game, as effectively as he does, that's something that's valuable to have.
Yeah, and Draymond's obviously, more of the power forward, the center kind of role. But I think if you look in the East, you're looking at Marcus Smart with the Boston Celtics, a player who is kind of playing that similar role defensively that Dillion Brooks would play. And he's very much an agitator. He's somebody who's going to get in your face. He might cause a fight or two throughout the course of his season. And I think you're gonna see that. So we'll see, what happens with Dillion Brooks, if they move him before the trade deadline or if he stays put and he's part of that core four that the Grizzlies franchise is kind of hoping that he can be.